circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. In a circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Inner Circle Podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 26th. I mean, the month already finished. Kids back in school, so I'm confused what day of the week is. So welcome to a powerful episode. This episode tonight is kind of a personal, so swing or swim while learning to swim. It's a life-saving priority, and stuff like that. So decided to bring this because most folks in our community we can swim, but when reality hits, it's a whole different ball game. So I'm here with my two powerful co-hosts every Tuesday. Peterson, welcome to the show from the windy city of Chicago.
How you doing, Ed and Miss B? Nice to see you guys again, and welcome to the show. This is Peterson from the Windy City. It's always windy out here when you're downtown Chicago. But yeah, this is a great topic to discuss, even though the summer months are winding down here, and not everybody's going to the pool, but you always get a chance to be around water. So this is a great topic.
Okay. Miss B, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Miss B. And Peterson, we was just talking about it today, how Chicago is not even the capital of Illinois.
No.
But it continues to be the most talked about city when it comes to that state. So you guys should just do a flipperoo. Like,
yeah, Springfield off Chicago.
Well, I mean, before we could get into that, I told Peterson, I said, well, obviously, it seems to be fun, right? You all make fun of these things, but, Peterson might be having a national guard soon, yeah, because that's why they stayed with, hey, there's not a politics. There's not a politics segment, but I just threw that out there.
It is. Are you deciding to sink or swim when it comes to that statement? Yeah. That is a serious thing. I mean, we should find time to talk about that. I was hearing it on the Breakfast Club this morning or yesterday morning about Donald releasing the National Guard and if people like it or they don't like it. And so there was kind of some interesting views and opinion about that. So.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, maybe we'll find time. I mean, Minneapolis, we have no fear because we don't have crimes here. It's a nice. Minnesota is a nice state, so we don't have crimes. We don't have crimes here, so we are not worried about the National Guard coming in here to, to patrol our streets. So, whenever it happens, Pleasant, good luck to you. We hope.
Welcome here, brother. Anytime.
Governor, he said we should peacefully protest if the military comes out. So
that's it. Okay, folks. So, tonight the topic is sink or swim. While learning to swim is a life-saving priority. So first of all, before we dive in, there's a growing movement, platforms. We are all over YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook. Follow us, Twitter, X. Follow us everywhere. Apple Podcast, Spotify, LinkedIn, everywhere. TikTok, everywhere. So join the movement. But man, I know Peterson. He said like when you travel a lot, right? He said someone's coming to him. But when it comes to swimming and stuff like that, when you travel a lot, there are swimming pools all over these. I mean, most of these hotels, the majority of the hotels have swimming pool, and so it's been 2 or 3 weeks now. My kids and I went to Hawaii, celebrating. It's like my little daughter loves pool, right? That's the only thing she loves to
Oh
do.
yes.
The little girl loves to swim. So me here, hey, I don't like water business because I don't like water business, is like, but when to satisfy your little girl, you always have to do things that they want to do. So every time we travel, the first thing she want to do, she want to jump into the pool, you know. So we went to Hawaii. Saturday, we got there Friday, Saturday morning. All she wants is to go to the pool. We went to the pool, okay. 6 feet, I go jump in there. It was only it was only by the grace of God, that I'm still here. On this podcast,
Wow.
but two strangers, right? Fortunately they saved my life. I was drowning, man. I'm laughing
Wow.
over it, right? It's like, yeah, I was drowning, bro. Okay,
Wow.
because I don't know how to swim, and yes, and the scary part about it that my daughter was standing there, right? It's like she didn't know what to do, right? It's like she was so it's like afraid. She just standing there, it's like don't know how to react to it and stuff like that. But as God could have it, we have folks in the pool, and they were able to come to my rescue. But I mean, so it's like that was my Hawaii. Yes, and then after that, the entire trip just turned sour in my mouth. But I just trying to put
Wow.
because you have
Oh wow,
stuff like that.
Abraham.
Wow.
So I said, man, we have to do this series there because man, it's not only me. A lot of folks in our community don't know how to swim. Yeah, but that's not what we didn't grow up with that, right? This are not like here. You got swimming lessons. You got opportunity to take swimming lesson. You can put your kids in swimming lesson, even as an adult, right? So when I got back, I inquired about because I'm a member of Lifetime. There's a local club in Minnesota, Lifetime. So I inquired as to how best I can start taking some classes because I can't say because of that experience where I should avoid I should avoid the pool because
Water,
my
exactly.
little daughter is always going to
The
kind
next
of
trip, you're gonna be in
you
the water.
be that. So that was my experience. Peterson reaction. I'll start with you because Miss
I'm I'm actually shocked to hear that, and
uh,
thank God for those strangers or those people, good Samaritans that were there. And yeah, when it comes to swimming and things, is it's a difficult thing when a lot of people, even if they grow up around water, especially immigrants,
mhm,
they always tell people, "Oh, stay away from the water, stay away from the water, stay away from the water," because of all these like drowning incidents that happen
mhm,
and
mhm,
things like that. And like you said, here they have the opportunity to, as young as 6 weeks old, to start putting them in like swim class and things like that. But yeah, as a reaction to your story, that will get somebody to be like, hey, you know what? Let me put my fear aside and try to take some swim lessons, even if it's just basic like survival skills to learn. So it's very important.
Yeah, it's not so much about putting fear aside, right? Because we take this for granted, right? So hey,
Hmm.
because even like you might overlook a swimming pool, and
Right.
between you and I, right? Sometimes you might say, oh, it's just a pool, but when you look at the statistics, that's where folks, that's where drowning happens quite a bit.
Yep.
That's where drowning happens quite a bit. I mean, I mean, it's like we all love water, like, but water is very unforgiving. The least mistake, I mean, it's like it's over.
I still have to address, like, in that moment, what possessed you to even jump into the 6 feet?
Man,
What
first of
thought
all.
went through your mind?
First of all, first of all, I thinking to myself, oh, just as I said, right? It's just a pool, and stuff like that. I can't. Uh, I first of all, I did when I was looking at it, I didn't even think it was a 6 feet, right? It's like I saw everybody in the pool. So yeah, man. So okay, you know what? I can jump in there. Then when I jumped in there, it was a whole different it was a whole different story. Okay. I couldn't. I mean, in a split of a second, it could have been if those strangers were not there, it could have been a different story. There's no
So
doubt
within
about it.
seconds, so because you've never swum before, was that your first time in the pool?
No, 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 no. As I said, every time Abby and every time, my kids and I travel, right? Abby love a pool and we travel quite a bit. That's the only thing she wants to do. But it's always like 3 feet,
Oh,
three,
okay.
3, 4 feet.
3 feet, 4 feet. So I didn't even know. Like sometimes I would tell her, say, hey, don't go any farther than 3 feet or 4 feet. So wherever she is, that's where I'm at, right? In this instance, sometimes that's the other thing about this thing, right? When death is coming, you don't even know, right? Or when stuff is coming,
Listen,
when stuff is coming, you don't even know. So it's not that something got over me that couldn't have it. It's just like God, that moment. I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
got over me to answer your question.
you underestimated the depth of that pool.
the
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if we did a research or did a poll, we'll probably find a lot of us have had near death incidents with the swimming, either via a lake, an ocean, or a pool. Like I have had that experience, right? Where you're swimming with your siblings and some way, somehow the other one has learned how to teach themselves swimming. So they encourage you, oh, come, it's okay. I can show you, blah, 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 blah. And it was at the local YMCA with my brother and I, and I'm trusting him, to navigate me in the deep end, like show me how to swim. Like, bro, where did you even learn before I'm trusting you to show me? But again, when you're younger and you're a kid, you're fearless, and that's probably why Abby's always jumping in pools. Like you're fearless. You don't think you're like anything's gonna harm you. You feel invincible.
Hmm.
And boy, did I learn quickly that no, I'm not invincible. And I don't know how to swim. And then fast forward, say she was 2 years old, and my girlfriend had a pool in her backyard. And she's a good swimmer. She's Liberian and Spanish. Her dad's from Spain, her mom's from Liberia. So she swims very well. Her daughter swims very well. Beautiful pool. She used to live out in it's that funny boundaries between New Hope and Robbinsdale. Had a beautiful home pool in her backyard. Would always go swimming, but Seisha would wear these floaties. And so Seisha, no, by this time Seisha's like 3. Seisha would wear these floaties. And so she thought because of the floaties and she was swimming in the pool that she could swim, my dear. It was a major event was happening. I think it was campaigning for Winfrey Russell's or somebody's campaign. It was having
Hmm.
a fundraising event.
Hmm.
Seisha decides she's going to go swimming. She puts the floaties on. I'm like, Seisha, get out of the water so you can eat. She quickly gets out of the water. She takes her floaties off, of course, to eat. She grabs some chicken. Before she can even finish eating the chicken, she's like, Mommy, I'm going back in the water. Boom, no floaties on. My daughter, not only does she jump in the water, she jumps in the 6 feet part of the pool. And the mother and me, clothes, shoes, everything. I have to save my child. I went in there. I don't know how I was gonna get out of there, but I went in there. But luckily for me, my friend Caroline, God bless her, being a great swimmer, not only did she jump in and save me, but she saved me and my daughter. So, that's our experience and our story. And then from that day, Seisha and Bianca, every summer or all year round, they used to be taking swimming lessons. They got to about level 4, but other curricular activities have gotten in the way. But now, because of the incident in Hawaii, it's more important and more evident than ever before for her to complete taking her swimming lessons. She feels she can swim. I'm like, no, you're not ready for the ocean, boo. So,
Yeah, you gotta be. I mean, you gotta be sort of. You gotta be certified, right? It's not only
yeah,
you trying to. It's not only you assuming that you can do it, right? Because that's the thing, right? Especially, I mean, talking about at the time, Social was 3 years old, right? It's like that's the leading cause of death among 1 and 3 years old, among 1 to 4 years old. Because like
yep,
sometimes someone is not looking, right?
yep,
It's like, and then that kid jump in the pool, and then
yep,
that's it.
yep.
And the other thing is, right, even in our community, right, it's not even about the age group. I think in our community, it's something. There's a little kid, a Liberian kid, who just, I mean, here in Minnesota, who went on a field trip at a lake. The next minute, he got drowned.
Mm-hmm.
because he did not know how to swim. They
Mm-hmm.
assume, right? The white folks, or the folks that taught him, assumed that he could swim. He didn't know how to swim. Once he went into once he got out of their sight, and then
Yeah.
that was it. So it's just something where, like, but we don't talk about this enough, though, Peters, in our community, or we don't even like emphasize this enough. Like,
Mhm.
some of the important thing in our community, like, we don't really, I mean, talk about it enough, because these things, like for Liberia, like we from Liberia, right? We from water, right? There's like stuff, countries surrounded by water, we have ocean,
Ocean,
and stuff.
not just
Yeah,
water, the ocean.
yeah, okay, but yes, still, I mean, even in Liberia, that's one of the leading cause of death. you know,
Yeah.
Folks go to swim and you don't see them. But we don't talk about these things enough, Peterson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons is because we downplay it. Most times we're like, oh, I don't have a swimming pool, and my kids don't have swimming pools, or the neighbors don't have swimming pool. We live in these neighborhoods and things that we don't encourage the kids to like take swim lessons. But if you live in a place that is predominantly white or Caucasian, 99% of those friends of your kids, they have
Mm-hmm.
taken lessons, so they know how to swim. Now, peer pressure, if they go somewhere, no adults like, hey, come in here, let's swim, let's like go swimming, and that's when these accidents usually happen. And even back home, somebody out of a whole group of young people, maybe 10, you will find maybe two or three that are good at swimming because they go to their local creek, and when people are washing clothes, they're there swimming and fishing and stuff like that. But the rest of them, they don't know. Once they get into the water, it's like your sense of like belonging all goes out the window. You don't know what to do. It's like
Yeah.
when they talk about fish out of water, when some people get into water, it's like you have no idea what to do. Do you kick your feet? Do you then if you just panic and start like splashing everywhere, that's when like that fear gets in you, and then you start to sink. But we don't discuss it as in like other topics. We just don't talk about these things enough in immigrant homes, especially those from like West Africa. And like you said, it's not like we live in the desert. We come from a place that is surrounded by water. There is water everywhere, but we just don't think how important it is.
I mean, two things is very brought up about the fear, right? Once you get in that moment, right, it's like the fear gets into you, right? It's like, and you just don't know
Yeah.
what to do. That's
Yep.
real, right? You just don't know what to do, right? You think you know what you do, but you just don't know what to do, and then you say,
Yep.
"Oh God!" Like, it's like everything's not going in my. Is this the end of it, right? Is it the end of it, right? I mean, would I survive this, right? And you're trying to do whatever you can do for someone to come to your rescue,
Right.
and stuff like that. So it's just that fear. But I know this way kind of a Rob Miss B here, right? It's like in an African American community, right? Because of low access, especially in our communities, low access that Peterson was trying to allude to earlier, right? It's like we don't have swimming pools. Most some of us don't have access to swimming pool, don't have swimming pools, so we think, oh, it doesn't matter. But because of lack of access, we don't take these things seriously. But to Peterson's point, we live in a diverse country, and and our kids are interacting, with Caucasian, with stuff like in some of these cases, that these I think their parents prioritize, swimming classes, even for the parents. I mean, most Caucasian adults or even American know how to swim. For us, we don't really take it seriously because we feel, oh, I don't have swimming pool in my backyard, I don't have swimming pool in my community. So what is lack of access doing to us, Miss B? Is that the reason why we are not taking these things seriously?
Yeah, I mean, historically, when you do your research, you will find that we used to be great swimmers. We didn't have that fear of water. I think there's a talk about even Liberia has some of the best sailors, and they used to help a lot of Europeans navigate those waters back in the day, right? So historically, it's been in our nature to be swimmers. I think being far removed from that natural order of things is where this fear has just gotten in us and traveled here with us to America, and where it's honestly just to start the fear. So even when the YMCA's have become to be plentiful in urban core communities, or you have community centers that have swimming pools because of that generational fear of water and drowning just continues to be instilled in us. It has prevent us from letting our kids to partake in getting swimming lessons. Like I know Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, they have great swimming programs. They have reduced fees that based on your income that you can provide, that you can take swimming lessons, not only just for the kids, for the adults as well. So anywhere you live that has a community activity center or a local pool has some kind of swimming lesson program. Your Parks and Recs department will have some kind of swimming lesson program, and they'll have a place where they have no charge or reduced fees or income-based fees or provide scholarships, because they recognize statistically a lot of Black people, especially Black males, have drowned compared to other people, nationwide.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the thing too, right? Because that comes with pressure. I'm glad that you mentioned that as a Black person and a Black male, who are full of pride, right? It's like if I see one or two people swimming, I say, man, I can do the same thing. But not knowing that, hey, man, once I jump in there, it's a whole different thing. I mean, at that point now, right? It all becomes, like either someone come and save me, or God said me, you know what? It's not my time yet to go. I still need to be here. But we need to get over that fear. The Peterson, you're talking about fear, means we need to get over that fear to try. I don't think there's even about a case anymore, because this can happen to anyone, right? It's like even the Miss people, if these resources are available, we should take advantage of them. We should take advantage of them, because you never know. You never know the moment, the minute these things might, these things might happen. But Peterson, how can we make sure that I know like a lot of things we try to avoid them in our community. We try to avoid these things, right? But the more we try to avoid things in this country, is going to come back to haunt us. you know, yeah.
People
No, honestly,
avoidance.
yeah,
Yeah. I
one
think
thing, yeah,
for us, it's like it's not a priority. So in the Black community, we don't consider like swimming as a sport. So everybody put their kids in basketball and football, basketball, football, basketball, football, and those same clubs. To your point, that they go to practice and take these like dribbling lessons and things. They have a huge Olympic-sized pool in that building, but we don't count that as something that is important. And it all comes down to like, oh, when am I going to be? When are they going to be near water? They're not going to go close to water. Since I don't take them to the pool, then we're not going to go. So they don't need to learn to swim. Let them go learn basketball. And I'm not saying there's any problem with
Mhm.
learning different sports, but make swimming a priority as well, because you don't know when it's going to come handy. It might not be them, somebody trying to save them, but they can in turn help to save somebody, because majority of people that you see walking around do not know how to swim. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter where you are. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't know how to swim, and we have that innate fear that, okay, and like to Miss B's point, especially like Black men would be like, oh, the ego, the pride, like I can swim as soon as
Mhm.
6 feet. I'm about 6'1" or 6'2", so I'm not gonna be under the water if I jump in there. But you can be uh, taller than the depth of the water, and incidents still happen, and people still drown in like little water. That's what they usually tell people, like families with little kids, don't keep like even bucket of water, like
Yeah.
a little bucket of water around. You would not think of it like, oh, this is a toddler, they're walking around, they're probably around 24 inches or taller at that point, but kids still drown in those like bucket or little container of water and things like that. And I have a above ground pool that I put in the backyard, and my 4-year-old at the time, he was 2. So I've had it for, this is the 3rd year now. He was going on 2, and when I first put it up, I left the ladder and everything sitting there one time, and I was in the kitchen doing something, and I just looked out the sliding door, and I see him on top of the ladder ready to jump into the pool. Like, yeah. So I'm like, it was
Oh my
just God that turned
Yeah.
my vision to that point
Mm-hmm.
to I see him right
Mm-hmm.
above, and I took him from there. So from then, before, if we're not using the pool, the ladder is about 30 feet away from that pool because he cannot lift it up physically to take it to the pool, and it's high enough that he cannot climb. But he's like Ms. B said earlier, kids are fearless. They think everything like, yeah, there's nothing that can happen. So he had little fear, but this year it's like he has no fear. He would just climb and just jump. I tell him like, wait until I'm watching you to jump. And he's like, Daddy, look over there. You just like fall into the water because he knows I'm there to catch him.
Oh,
So yeah, but that's that's a part to be careful. Even if you actually put them into swim lessons, they have to be in a place that is certified. Don't say, oh,
Yeah.
okay, the
Yeah.
is going to teach them, or my neighbor is going to teach them, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing sink or swim while learning to swim is a life-saving priority. Tonight's segment is about awareness, and call to action because you never know when that moment might come. My moment almost came when I was in Hawaii.
Can you
you know,
imagine
when I,
what should have been
when I
what
was
would
in,
have
yeah,
been?
when
Yeah,
I was in
wow.
Hawaii, So that's what the next segment is about, folks. So you can drop a comment in the chat if you know how to swim, have you had experience of water, if you are, if you love swimming and things like that. So let us know. Hit us up also on our number 952-594-5154. Must be though, again, there's another one. I think will resonate with you. Right? Climate change is a real thing, right? The thing, as like the weather is changing, right? You're having longer summer. It's getting hot, and then I was like, that's one of the things. Like, so when you get hot, like folks wonder why, especially the kids, right? And even adults. Hey, let's go. Maybe let's go to. I mean, let's go to the pool, or let's go to the water park, right? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Let's go to the water park. So those are things that with climate change, especially in this country, where they are building all these facilities, you know, we should not overlook this swimming thing,
No,
you know.
no. Because I mean, you talk about climate change is what happened prior to us going to Hawaii. And
Hmm.
it was my girlfriend that called me like maybe a week or two before we left
Hmm.
to tell me about the volcano that erupted in Russia, right?
Hmm.
Didn't even know Russia had volcanoes. But anyways, so that volcano eruption that happened in Russia impacted Hawaii to the point of causing a small size. Well, she said actually it wasn't even a small size. I think it was like 8.8, which was very high level type tsunami, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, all of this is happening right before we prepare to go to Hawaii. So
Hmm.
these are some of the ways in which climate change may impact us, right? And why, to be honest, because of my inability, I'm not a strong swimmer. I have the methods and the ideas down, and I can do at least well up to 5.5 feet of water, right? But because I'm not 100%, I don't trust myself going to small islands, right? I always think about that. Like I'm not going to go to Bora Bora anytime soon. Of course, my daughter would love to go, and I'll be honest, going to Hawaii, when I was looking up activities, I'm like, oh my gosh, everything has to do with water. Like every activity has to do with water. Rightfully so. It's an island. It's surrounded about a lot of water, around a lot of water. So the excursions take advantage of that. But I tend to miss out, right? I tend to miss out on different activities. And then when you talk about climate change and the currents, right? Especially again, we're in Hawaii. It's a lot of beaches, and that's the ocean. You're right there in the ocean. There's no 10,000 lakes. Not our dirty ponds we have here, calling them beaches. It's like the weather can instantaneously impact those waves, those currents, and where you think you may be able to handle and navigate. Even some avid swimmers, like Abraham was telling us about a surfer incident, right?
Hmm.
When those waves they start to change and the current these has to change and that weather wants to shift, you could be an avid sailor, you could be an avid surfer, you could be an avid swimmer, you can get taken, right? Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was in Costa Rica, and yeah, he drowned. He
Yeah,
died
yeah.
from a similar incident. I'm sure he could swim.
Yeah, I mean, drowning is a weird thing, but of that whole Hawaii thing, right? Yeah, there was, I think a lot of folks, because of that tsunami, right? It was causing a lot of waves. And when we
Mhm.
went there, there were a lot of tourists, right? I mean, Los Angeles, LA is right there, and Seattle is right there. So a lot of folks actually flew in to see the waves, right? When we got there on Friday, Abby and I went to the beach. You had all these tourists, right, just watching the wave. There were one part of the island where in like the wave was just coming strong, right? Very, very strong and things like that, right? So and folks are enjoying that, you know what I mean? Things like that. The other thing is, that I be like, I mean, these surfers, man, they be like all the way out there. My daughter was saying, Dad, are they out there? And then the incident Miss B is talking about, this dude, his surfing board broke, right? It broke, and he left it, right. Well, obviously he's surfing, he know how to swim, but he kept swimming, right. I mean, he kept swimming, and everyone was shouting, oh, like I mean, they were trying to get a lifeguard and stuff like that. He kept swimming, and they had to like go and get him. I said, imagine, though, right, if
Yeah.
it wasn't that baby like professional swimmer, that could have been it for. He actually went for almost like 30 minutes before
Yeah,
they
it
could
was
come and rescue him.
miles away,
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
you know. And the thing about it, what we're talking about, I mean, the focus, I mean, we're talking about swimming, right? I mean, we have been talking about swimming pools, but the ocean, you and I mean, we all know here from Liberia, the ocean is very unforgiving.
Mm.
For the ocean up here, the ocean, there's no maneuvering, okay? Because I mean, especially when a wave is coming, it's going to come and sweep that sand underneath you. The next
Mm-hmm.
minute, you think like you 10 feet deep,
Yep.
you know. Yeah, so that's a whole different ballgame, Peterson.
Yeah, I have a personal story about that. So in college, my friends and I went on a spring break, my last spring in
Hmm.
college, and we went to, was it Daytona Beach, and we were out there swimming. Now we all like around the same height, like 6 feet, but we all fit. And to your point, you're standing on shore. When waves will come, it will go past you like 10 feet. But then when it's going in, they carry you like maybe a foot and then
Yep.
it comes back. When it's going, it takes you another 20 foot. So we kept doing that. And by the time I looked up, one of our friends, he was like 20 feet into
Yep.
the ocean. And I thought he could swim. And this is one thing too that people don't realize, because if you're all a group of friends and you don't really know what your abilities are, you're just going to assume like, oh, okay, we all like hang out, we all do the same thing, so that must be he knows how to swim. But now I'm standing on the show and he he keeps going up and coming down. I'm like, is it the waves that's like that? What's
Oh
going on?
Lord. Yeah.
And it took me a minute to realize, like, wait, he's like actually like about to
He's
drown.
drowning.
He's
Yeah,
drowning.
he's drowning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I had to like push myself out there with the help of the waves, and then he's the same size as me, so I cannot like grab him. So I went under and like kind of almost like backed him so that he can be on my back, and then we started to come on shore. But we got back to shore. I'm like, wait, he's like, didn't you guys see that I was drowning? I'm like, no. But yeah, to
Who
your point,
carry you over there?
And and the thing about the ocean, right? The reason why the ocean is so forgiving, because the salt water. I mean, it's because of the salt water.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
of the salt water, it even make it worse.
yeah,
It even make it worse. You know.
yeah.
So obviously, right? Yeah, that's another good one right there, right? And that's what, man, is like, it is important. That's why I feel like learning how to swim, or we all learning how to swim. It's not only for kids. I think it's for
Mhm,
every one of us.
mhm.
And the
Yep.
point you just brought up there, right? We all travel these days, right? Traveling is something like especially in our community now. Everybody traveling to this island, Jamaica, X, Y, and Z, folks that are
Barbados,
traveling to
yeah.
this island. So
Mhm.
even though you might not, you are not doing the pool, but all of these islands you're traveling to, you're
Yep.
encountering water.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
encountering water. Our community now traveling is becoming a big thing because of social media. Everybody want to
Oh
show,
yeah.
I'm all, I'm at this island and stuff like that. So this swimming thing is something we need to take seriously in our community, Miss B, because everyone is traveling nowadays.
It is seriously, and again, when I go to certain trips, my husband and I went to Puerto Rico in 2021 for his birthday.
Mhm.
And of course, again, these places tend to have water excursions, right? For me, I want to stick to like the ATV. I don't even want, yeah, let's go, find like a pinball, gun thing, where we, anything that's on land. Basically, I'm down for that type of excursion or activity. But people always want to do the cruise, want to get on a boat. They wanted to do jet skis. And so and I honestly, I knew it was going to happen. They paid for the excursion the night before. And, the whole night I'm praying, I'm pepping myself up. Denise, you're going to do this. It's going to be safe. I'm reading all the instructions. I get there. I put my life vest on. The guide, the person who's going to guide us on the jet skis and be out in the water with us, he explains everything. And so the jet skis were set up that 2 people to a jet ski. There were 6 of us on the trip. So all the couples got on their jet skis. I got behind my husband. And then the guy is telling us how to use the jet ski. And he says, "Oh, there's no stop button." I say what now?
You said what?
I said what now? So I politely got off the jet ski. And before my husband and them came, I went running to the guy. I said, "Oh, sir, I'm not a good swimmer. Is it possible I can ride with you?" He said, "Oh, no, unfortunately, I have to keep my jet ski free in case any incident happens in the water and I have to save somebody." I said, "Okay." So he gave us the instruction. He said, "There's no stop button." I just politely got off that jet ski. I said, "Honey, I love you, but deuces." I went, they have a nice little lounge where the place is. I went nicely. I ordered my drink. Those days I was drinking, ordered my nice cocktail. I ran into some old papa, me and the old papa chilling, enjoying ourselves, eating, drinking my food. Jeff and then they come running back to me. "Oh, Denise, guess what? Good thing you didn't go." We almost had a near-death incident. What happened? Somebody going too fast. They couldn't stop the jet ski. He literally flew off his jet ski.
Oh.
Was hanging to a vine like Tarzan in the ocean. Yes. Then my husband said he go and save the day. He go take a jet ski running fast to go save the day. What he did a jet ski and put a person under the water even more. I'm like, really? Wow. Yes, splash a whole bunch of water on the kid, made him to go back into the water. And then finally the instructor guy came and was able to save the day. And they all came back. I said, "You see, I was sipping my little cocktail, enjoying and minding my business." But yeah, I mean, it's because of that trip and other trips. Is like, I really do love water. I have a love-hate relationship for water. I love water. I would love to do jet skis. I would love to do snorkeling. But unfortunately, my hate is that fear that I have. I cannot swim 100%. And so therefore, I miss out on all those fun activities.
And that's what this segment's about, Miss B. You need to go take that swimming lesson, get your certificate. That's all. That's the reason why we're doing. That's the reason why we're doing this segment tonight, right? All the folks out there, don't, because you never know. Right? Sometimes it's tempting. It's very, very tempting. You want to get in that water, especially here, everyone having fun, everyone in the pool, and I said when you go to the island, as I said, right, that's the most. These are the most attractive in the ocean. I mean, going back to the Hawaii thing, sometimes the ocean is so beautiful, you just want to jump into it, right? It's very beautiful. And you see everyone out there, and then you just standing there and say, "Hey, I don't want to try that," So that's what the segment is about tonight. We need to take it seriously. It's not something like, because you never know when that moment might come. You never know when you might be tempted, And most of these islands, to your point, right, that those are the only activities that are there. But some of the statistics we should remember here, right, that when it comes to drowning, right, African American blacks, because we are all in that category. We are the second highest. I mean, Native American, the Indians. I mean, they top that list. African American, when it comes to drowning, it's because we avoid. I think it's fear. We avoid it. We avoid it. But I don't think it's something to avoid because it is impacting our community. It is affecting us. And I think we even dig into that statistics deeper, right? So the immigrant community, because we don't really pay attention to these things. So I think it might even be high among us, So we shouldn't take this for granted. We should look at swimming as a skill, right? There's a skill gap in our community that we should really, really push it. While we're pushing our kids, we should also push ourselves, because I mean, Peterson, from your story earlier, I gather that you know how to swim.
Yes, I actually taught myself. So
Okay.
yeah, I I can survive. So yeah, I I taught myself to swim and
In
like
Liberia?
yes, yes, in Liberia before coming here.
Yeah, love to me.
Yeah, but yeah, I can swim not only in like pools, but flowing waters and things like that. But to your point about uh, sometimes I think we need to let the pride go because sometimes we think like I'm not gonna go into swimming class or take a swimming lesson with a bunch of 2-year-olds or 3-year
Mm,
olds and be holding onto this paddle and kicking, but pride comes before that fall. If you let that keep you from taking lessons or at least getting the basics, is it can come in handy. But yeah, I taught myself to swim. I'm one of those people, I like extreme things, so I'm not afraid of height. I'm not afraid of water. So the dangerous thing, when we travel, my wife always like, oh, don't do this one, don't do this one. If like I did a zip lining thing in
I
Puerto
was just
Rico,
about to. Oh, you
but
red extremist. I was just gonna ask, have you done the jungle zip line? Oh
no,
no,
mine wasn't
I
in the
didn't do
jungle.
that
It
one
was
either.
mine was in the city, but it was from one like high rise to the other. It was
Oh
just
no.
like downtown because I paid for it before we got there, and my wife she went first, and I'm waiting for outside with the camera, like okay, and then like 20 minutes later, she comes down with the harness and everything, and she said, "I can't do it, I can't do it." It's like yeah, when she got up there and looked down, nah,
Uh,
definitely yeah, to
well,
do it,
well,
but.
well, Peter, you talking about? I think I prefer the jungle rather than the skyscraper. From one skyscraper to another, man, bro. you know, yeah, that's an extreme
Yeah,
one right there. That's an extreme one. But
That
here's
is
the thing, though, right? Approximately 40 million U.S. adults don't know how to swim. 40
that's
wow.
million.
huge.
40 million US
That's
adults, right? That's
huge.
about, yeah,
I'm
40
in that
million US
40 million.
adults don't know how to swim, right? And then over 54% of that 40 million have never taken a swimming lesson.
Mm,
54% in and out have never taken a swimming lesson. We take these things for granted. We feel that, oh, these facilities are only in certain communities. But to Ms. B's point earlier, right? The thing is, we are paying taxes here. I always say that, I've said this many times on the show. We are paying taxes here. That is where these cities they are getting fees, taxes, whatever way they can get money from us. But they build these
yeah.
facilities, so we're not taking advantage of them. We
Mm,
need to take advantage of these resources, of these amenities, of these of these facilities, right? Because sometimes you don't have to. I mean, Peterson, to your point earlier, even for there's an adult swimming lesson. I said when I came, that was my first inquiry. I called my local church and said, oh no, we do have swimming lesson for adults. It depends how often you want to do it. You want to do it twice a month, once a week. It all depends on your schedule, and we can make it. You can come for 1 hour or 2 hours. And you do have adults, right? You do have folks in those programs. Well, guess who most of those folks are? Not us. It's not us, right? So, I mean, that's a huge statistics right there. Like, most of us don't know how to swim. It's B.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, you talked about 40 million in this country. 300,000 people drown annually globally. And then, of course, I'm sure that 40 million, you're talking about like 3,000 to 4,000 people in America alone drown annually, which I'm sure that number has gone down because, again, like I said, there's a lot of urban core programs have been intentional around supporting swimming lessons, right? Like even apartment complexes that have swimming pool are getting resources from the city to support having swimming lessons for the residents that are living in that apartment complex.
Mhm.
YMCA, Community Activity Center, all these places have either free programs or reduced fee programs or scholarships that it can provide to these programs. Check your Parks and Recs department. Every city has one. Figure out what is the process. When do they? How often are they? They really have a array of times. Like the lessons that Seisha used to take were $59, and is so bad because last year November I registered and everything, but she never took it because it conflicted with her extracurricular activities at school. So it's like $59. You would do it every Sunday, every Saturday, whichever morning that works for you. They have weekends, weekdays, weekend evenings, and then they have weekend mornings. And so I scheduled her for the weekend mornings, but then Cheer had stuff going on the weekend mornings as well. It's about an hour and a half lesson, or is this, yeah, 75 minutes, an hour and 15-minute lesson, $60 for 4 weeks worth of lesson, right? And so it's pretty reasonable. And again, if you can't afford it, they have a scholarship program that you can take to be able to participate.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is, right, I mean, and this thing is important, right? I'm glad that you brought that up because like 64% of black kids, you know, is that have never taken a swimming lesson. 64% of black kids. Again, like we shouldn't, because we are not doing it, so we're not putting our kids into it, right? And the other thing, though, right, this is not only about swimming too. I mean, to Miss B point, where her daughter is in extracurricular activities. The other thing, because we are so busy, Peterson, some of us are like working 2, 3 jobs, or even weekend for all to spend time with our kids. We just want to go chill with other people, right?
Yeah.
Instead of us putting our kids in some of these extracurricular of spending time with them, doing these activities with them, we don't even do it. So at the end of the day, we are raising kids that are not getting the full picture, right? It's like and that is something that is affecting us, affecting our communities.
Yeah, it is. It's affecting not only us, but the next generation and people that are coming up as well. Because if you have to work 2, 3 jobs, and then the excuse is, "Oh, I don't have time." But the kids, if they're out of school or when they come from school, weekends, they don't go to school. They just sit around and they have to wait for their friends that are going to those activities to come back, and then they play with them and things like that. So, like to your point about 64% of black kids not taking swim lessons or not in swimming, I put my 10 and 6 year old in swim lessons this summer, and at the
Hmm.
park district, uh, both of them started at the same level, but my 10-year-old, he is advancing faster now. Every 4 week session, he would
Yep.
like advance to the next level. So we did that. We did 3 sessions. Now he's up to level 4. And when we started, he's somebody that have fear of water. And like I said,
Mhm.
above ground pool. But every time he's in there, the water is stopped. He's not even 5 feet yet, but the water is only maybe 44 inches like deep. But
Hmm.
because of that fear, he would always hold on to the rails and walk around. He would not like swim in the water. So, but in the class, the both of them, my kids were the only like black kids in there. Like the first session, the second session, and then the third one before I saw another like black kid. So to your
Mhm.
point, it's something that it's like we do not prioritize. We don't think it's important. So we always think like, oh, okay, well, what are they going to do with swimming? They're not going to the Olympics. And when we think of swimming, that's why people always think of Olympic swimming
Mm.
or water polo. So and those sports and things, it's very hard to find like black people in those sports, especially if they're doing it professionally. So for that reason, it's something that is not really encouraged to say, oh, okay, let me put them in, like to Ms. B point, even if it's just one day a week. And my
Mhm.
kids are going one day a week too in the
Yep.
evening when it's
Hmm.
convenient. I come from work and I take them there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge commitment, right? As I said, that even when I inquired about it, like it's not like once a week, maybe twice a month, right? Because the thing is, right, as you said to your point, Peterson, there are levels, right? It's
Yep.
like you go from one level to another, and they try to pace you, right? They're not going to rush you,
Right.
right? Yeah, they will make sure that you can go through these stages and things like that. Because I mean, the statistics when you really look at the data, it's scary. 5.5, 5 times, kids in African American families are more likely to drown compared to a Caucasian kid. That's a
Mhm.
scary. I mean, that's scary right there because it's like we are not putting them in these sort of activities, right? Because look, water is all over. Like most of the modern communities that are building right now, they are swimming pools, right? They will build these
Yep.
communities that are swimming pools. Most of the apartment complexes have swimming pool, and the
Yep.
kids
Yep.
we are having, right? These kids are fearless. Sometimes, and because of peer pressure, they will see their friends and say, "Hey, I want to jump in there."
Mm-hmm.
And so we should not take these things for granted. We should really. How can we change our narrative though, right? How can we make sure that we are encouraging, folks in our community to take these things seriously, starting with us and then, making sure encouraging the kids. How can we change it, Miss B? I mean, you are in that nonprofit space where in like these resources are available. You always tell people the resources are available. Yeah, you have mentioned the Rex, the parks Rex. But yes, still, well, we say these things, our people don't move, and things like that. How can we keep encouraging folks to make sure
I
that we change the narrative?
it's unfortunate, but you literally have to meet them where they are. So
Mhm.
it would take us going. So it could be the program can be at where they live, but even then, you would still need to have more education, more build more awareness that that program is there, so people can have the program available. Like I know cities do rec on the go, and so Rec on the Go is basically bringing parks and recs to the apartment complex, right? So some of it, not all, but a lot of the activities that you would catch at the rec center is now mobile and being brought to you. And sometimes I would see when that program first began, maybe it would be 3 kids will come outside and interact and so on and so forth. It grew over time, but it took a lot of not only just showing up there, but working with the leasing office to build that awareness, right? Or sometimes taking flyers, having staff go into the buildings and flyer and let people know about the existing program, and having conversations, knocking on doors and having
Yeah. I mean,
conversations.
any other thing?
That is the level of engagement, unfortunately, you have to do with our community to get them engaged to participate in things.
Yeah, and the importance of this, right? Like most of the places you go now, like especially when you go in somebody's community, you don't have lifeguards. And most of
No,
these swimming pools don't have lifeguards, right? That's why it is important. Most of these swimming pools don't have lifeguards. So if you don't have someone if you don't have someone around who knows how to swim, or you have folks around, it's like that could be a tragic moment. And it's always happening in our community, as I said, right? And then when we started segments, a Liberian kid went on a field trip, you know, it was an innocent moment. The folks did not know, but unfortunately, he lost his life. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So because when the because I mean there are a lot of budget constraints, a lot of resource constraints, or something that these life you don't have lifeguards at most of these
yep.
places. You don't have lifeguards at these places. So that's why it is so important, Peterson. It is so important that we take swimming seriously.
Yeah. So even with the lifeguard situation or not the lack of, because uh, usually when growing up, those of us who like learn to swim on our own, there's no such thing as lifeguard. Like the only people that will be there would be like in your case with your like what happened in Hawaii, where you have standby people
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm,
uh,
mm-hmm,
who are there too. They will
mm-hmm,
step up and help others. But to your point, a lot of these places, not only like the swimming pools and things, like in the case of Marco and Chimor Warner that Miss B mentioned earlier, it was all in the news that that particular beach didn't have lifeguards because they didn't have enough resources, so they took those lifeguards to other places that they were needed. So if you even if you are a strong swimmer and it can happen to you at that place, then we should really learn to just, like I said, take the basics of survival
Mhm.
lessons, just the basic skills, how to float, how to get out of trouble, how not to panic and things like that. Because if you move to an apartment building or you in a condo or someplace in a community and they don't have enough resources for lifeguards, like at all shifts, and you go over there, it can be trouble. And if you are there by yourself or you're there with somebody that do not know how to swim as well, then that's like double whammy because
mm-hmm.
now somebody will have to leave you there to go get emergency, and by the time they get back, is it's too late. So we
Yeah.
should take this like serious. And we've been saying it all night. All these communities, we have resources. If it's not a community pool, there will be the park and recreation center will have something that has to do with swimming. And if you live within that community, you can get a discounted price. Uh, to take swim lessons. They're not going to charge you your mortgage to go swim. And like we said earlier, they're not going to rush you. You go at your own pace and learn what you can. Like my 6-year-old, I put her in the swim lessons, and after every 4 week session, they say, well, we need her to do that 4 week again, to repeat it again. So I'm like, okay, she can keep doing it until she's confident enough to actually advance to the next level. So it's not something I'm like, oh man, how come you just like taking these lessons and you're not learning to swim? So we have to take it serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing though, right, you talk about lifeguards, right? Even like, and I brought a lifeguard issue, and you're expanding on that. But even when you go to some of these resorts, I mean, like these places be so packed. I don't think these lifeguards can save everyone. So they
No.
only have like,
No, they cannot.
Oh my
They
you
God.
only
cannot.
have like 2 lifeguards. Okay,
They
it's like,
cannot.
and then you see everyone in the ocean. How they
Thank you.
gonna know
Yeah.
who is drowning, who's not drowning? You know, so I think that's important. At your resort, I mean, all those people are still in that ocean.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Because the lagoon area, there was no lifeguard at all. And the beach area, I think I maybe saw one. And that resort had hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people. It was packed, right? It's
Hmm.
8 hours, 322 acres worth of resort. And I'm just like, where was the lifeguard, Abraham? I think I only saw one the whole time. Now that you talk about it, depending on that one person to serve, how many? Yeah, they're not going to be able to save everybody's life. So even when they do have a lifeguard out there, the resources is not enough maybe to have multiple. We just probably didn't see them. The people probably there was. I'm sure the resort is being more careful and mindful about that. But it was a lot of people, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, where are these lifeguards? Where are the lifeguards? And back to what we talked about, it's like even if you're learning, be certified, get that certification, make sure you've been cleared, right? Because just because you have basic technique does not mean you're ready for the different levels of water. It's a different animal from being in a pool than being in the ocean,
Yeah.
right? And like when we were there, I told the girls, I'm like, get out of this ocean. Let's get into this little pond over here, right? This is more manageable. You guys can maneuver this, right? Oh, we can swim. We can swim. I'm not saying y'all can't swim, but you guys' level of swimming is not there to take on these ocean. And like you said, Peterson, for every time that wave comes, it takes you back. Every time it comes, it takes you back further. And next thing you know, because it's sand, the sand moves underneath your feet in the ocean. You could be 10 feet deep in like seconds, right? And so, again, please take advantage of all the different opportunities that are out there for you to learn how to swim. It's important. It's an investment that's worth it.
Yeah, it's an investment. Not only will save you, it will save your family, it will save folks from as I says, like, I wish I could have made that investment earlier, right? My whole trip, I was just putting a brave face on, the entire the rest of the trip in Hawaii. My kids were there. Then guess what, right? That's why it's not good to I mean, I love making fun. That's why sometimes it's not good to make fun of your kids. So after that incident, they spent the entire trip mocking me. They spent the entire trip mocking me, okay? They spent it. The little one came. The little one when she came out, when she came out to the hotel, the first thing she told her little big sister, "Oh, your dad was drowning." That's what, you know.
Wow.
And then they spend the entire trip. That's it. I love mocking my
That
kids.
story.
I love mocking my kids. I love making fun of them because I feel like that would make them stronger and stuff like that. But the entire trip, right? Yeah, just like every night, then they would just look at me and just, you know, and just
Now
go,
I see why you were done getting in the water.
So,
You
oh, but,
refused.
yeah, but after
You didn't
after
even
that,
go to the sand. You
after
were
that,
just stuck on the bench.
after that, I told Abby, I said, hey, I love you, man. I know you love water, but the next time you see me in a pool with you, I'm gonna have my swimming certificate before I take before I ever take that risk. You never know, right? It was not my time. God still wanted me to be here to,
Praise God.
we having fun here on this podcast, on this platform, sharing knowledge and everywhere else we can be. But that's why it is important. Peterson, have just said, Miss B, as you said, right? But this is a 1 hour show. As we try to wrap up here, What is your party message tonight, Peterson? With the audience out there have been listening to us, it's a great topic. Sometimes we take these things for granted, but you never know the moment, the hour, the minute. We all love traveling these days. Water is all over. you
Mhm.
know, we live on Earth, right? And water is the majority part of it. yeah, yeah. So well, as we wrap up here, Bill, what is your party message to the folks out there tonight?
Thank you both for a very interesting, engaging conversation, and the time went by so fast.
It
But
did.
like we keep bringing timely topics and discussions on this platform so people can tune in and learn a thing or two, because we are not experts, and tonight was all about like lived experiences
Mhm.
and bringing personal experiences to the discussion. And for me, we have a family friend that it was must have been like 15 years ago now, that had a little 6 year old and the same age as my daughter. And she went to their local pool with her friend. And the adults, I don't know if there were no lifeguards on duty or anything. And it's like what we're just saying about lifeguards in the last segment. Don't assume just because lifeguard is there that that person is even like paying attention. Just this past 26, we're in Wisconsin Dells at the Great Wolf Lodge, and there
Mm.
was almost an incident because this the outdoor water park, they have lifeguards all over, but they're just standing there and just like scanning,
Yeah.
scanning, scanning. And there was this kid, probably like 4 years old, and he was walking in the water, but as he's walking, it's getting deeper, and his mom had to like run from where she was sitting in one of those beach chairs and run into the water because everybody's yelling at the lifeguard like, "Can't you see the kid? Can't you see?" And I don't know if he had on earplugs or something. He wasn't paying attention, and it could have been really tragic. But
Mhm.
like to the story I was saying, we had a family friend that their 6 year old daughter, she tragically drowned
Mm.
7 years ago at a local
Wow.
pool because
Wow.
the people that she went with, they were not paying
Mm.
attention. So this is like personal, and it's something that we need to take serious. Is not we are not prioritizing it in our community, especially when those who come from like Africa would say, "Oh, I mean, I'm not ever going to go around pool." I mean, even to get in water, in rainwater, we we behave like we're going to melt in water
I know,
temperatures
right?
in the rain or something like that. So it's something that we have to take serious and prioritize. And these resources are available in the community. We just need to take advantage of it. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, those are personal stories, right? The tragedy is always tragedy, man. And there's been a lot of tragedy in our community, and things like that. So, as I said, it's always happening. But, Miss B, what is your party message tonight? There is as Peterson said, relevant topic, timely topic. And we always bring the discussion here. We are by no means expert, but what we're trying to do, create awareness, do call to action. There are some segments that we're in we bring expert, but some of these things just about life experiences, as Peterson have said, right? Talking about our life experiences and just about awareness and telling folks out there are resources. Do these things. Let us take advantage of what's here. But as we wrap up tonight, what is your parting message to the folks out there that have been listening to us?
I mean, whenever I can have this conversation, I'm going to be able to have this conversation and be honest and frank about it, right? And then push myself to hold myself accountable to lead
Yeah.
by example. As
Mhm.
far as, I know I'm going to tell Abraham, hold me accountable when you get in your lessons, hold me accountable and make sure I've gotten in my lessons as well. And I'm going to say, yeah, we should all hold each other accountable. Peterson, fabulous. You can swim, you have your kids, in swimming lessons. Continue to encourage your fellow Liberians as well too around you, in that area, and here are places you guys can go and get support. Your Parks and Recs department in your city, community activity center, the YWCA, the YMCA, all of these places have access to swimming lessons. Like I said, some of them are free. It's on a sliding scale. They're providing scholarships, or they're really cheaply priced. Like Peterson shared earlier. If you're a resident, it's one fee and it's cheaper. And then a non-resident, you still can participate in the programs. Even if you don't live in that city, maybe it's the closest community activity center to you and it's in a nearby city. They still make it pretty affordable so that everybody can take advantage of these programs and get the lessons that they need.
Well, folks, right there, Miss B. Thanks for putting that plug in. Right, the resources are available over. This has been a great topic. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. That's what we do here 5 days a week. Bring this timely topic. So thank you so much, folks. It's been a great topic. Thank God I'm still here. I did not
Yep.
drown.
Thank God for
Praise God.
Thank God. Thank God.
I still here. I did not drown. So I'm not going just that. You know what I mean? I read that. No, I'm not going just that. No, I'm still gonna be around here.
What are you doing with your second chance at life?
Oh, you mean like that's how you enjoy yourself, right? Right there, right there, right there. Right there. Too much. I say, you see what I enjoy myself when I come.
Yes.
Yeah,
You can tune me up an eye, man.
So why we live here right there? And thank God there's Instacart. One travel, I love my Instacart. So I just want Instacart. Hey, there's
his stuff available.
extra style.
Yeah, to celebrate his new life.
Yeah, that's it. I say it's time to celebrate this new life. And since then, I've been living it up, quietly. I mean, doing my thing because you never know. But I think there's a long way to go. But just an opportunity to just, for us to keep providing, this kind of educational topics to our folks, letting them know that resources out there. Don't take life for granted, right? It's that we're living here to have an impact, and let us take our impact seriously. So. But that's it tomorrow. Tomorrow, Miss B, you and I are going to be here with our man Randy for a great topic. It's our business segment tomorrow. So, folks, that's it. You all have a good night. And Peterson, man, thanks for joining us from the great windy city of Chicago. We hope the National Guard don't come and occupy you anytime soon.
In a circle podcast where hearts unite,
Everyone.
sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light.